I'm an environmental biologist. What that means is that I study kind of everything about the earth, the plants and the animals, and the greater earth processes, and how they interact all together to create one system. My research is looking at coral skeletons off the Pacific coast of Panama and looking at the chemical composition of the skeleton, specifically the ratios of barium to calcium, to record river discharge in the area. When I'm in the lab, what I'm doing is I have a little tiny drill, and we drill out millimeter by millimeter of the coral, and each millimeter is one separate moment in time. The coral sample that we're using is cut into many, many slabs just so that they're more workable sized pieces. So going all the way back in time, we can see how the climate has been changing based just on these coral data points. Over the summer, I was working from home, so I was in Rhode Island, mostly in my childhood bedroom, just on my laptop, kind of looking at these data sheets that are just the barium calcium that had been analyzed before. I learned a little bit of coding, and I've never really been so hands-on in a data set before, so it was good. It's been great to be able to come back and kind of get a little sense of normalcy and being on campus and in a lab and working on something. I feel like I know a lot about this coral because I've been reading about it and writing about it, and now I'm touching it and drilling into it. It makes it kind of come full circle where I understand where the samples have come from and kind of what it takes to get the numbers that I was looking at.
Everything's just been harder for Caroline, and I think every scientist. So Caroline is learning this in this meta environment where she has to be flexible, just not only in the project itself, but the way we're actually conducting the work. But that's incredibly important for scientists, regardless of if we're in a pandemic. So it's certainly a skill that Caroline is honing a little bit earlier, perhaps, than would have happened under typical conditions.
I've loved working with Logan. I think it's been really helpful. She's just a great mentor and a great role model. And just to be able to see, female scientists and young female scientists, it's a reason why I chose to come to Barnard. It's just inspiring. It's helpful to know that there are people out there like me and who are ready to encourage other young female scientists.
I want Caroline to come out of this experience as a confident scientific investigator, being able to trust her ideas and her skills, and also feeling empowered to ask difficult questions, which I've seen her do over the past few months, and it's been great to watch that evolution. The conclusions from Caroline's research are quite broad and I think quite impactful. One of them is it will help us understand El Nino in this area. Another is that it will help us perhaps manage the Panama Canal a little bit better in the future. So we know that precipitation and river flow is going to change in the future, and therefore if we can understand the variability that existed in the past, we can make better predictions for what's going to happen tomorrow.
It's a time right now that we need to have people understand science and understand kind of the process behind it, and we only have so much time before climate change is going to be an issue that affects even more people than it is right now. It's very important to be involved in science and be able to communicate your science to other people.